The Mummy Family Find Fame by Tony Bradman and Martin Chatterton. The Big Zero. Welcome to the land of sand, where the Mummy family is having breakfast in their lovely pyramid by the river. At least that's what they're supposed to be doing, but the day seems to have begun rather badly. Where shall I go shopping today? Stop it, you two. Oh no, gasped Daddy Mummy. Suddenly, he was sitting at the table with the newspaper and the Morning Post laid out in front of him. This is awful! Well, really, said Mummy, if that's all the thanks I get for slaving over a hot stove, you can cook your own breakfast in future. He does have a point, Mum, said Tut. You burnt the toast. Ugh, gross. And these eggs are as hard as rocks, said Sis, tapping them. What do you expect, said Mummy. I was distracted because you two kids were arguing so much. It was chaos in here. She started it, Tut muttered, poking his sister in the side. I didn't, squeaked Sis, poking him right back. He did. Soon they were yelling at each other, and Mummy was yelling at them. The mummy puss crept off to hide in his tomb. Oh, for heaven's sake. Quiet, Daddy Mummy shouted at last, and silence fell. I was actually talking about our bank statement, dear, not your cooking. Bank statement, said Mummy. What's wrong with it? There's nothing in our bank account, said Daddy Mummy. Zip, zilch, the big zero. We have no money. In short, we're dead broke. Look. Who cares, said Tut. It doesn't make any difference, does it? Especially as we don't get much pocket money anyway, said Sis. You won't be getting any at all from now on, said Daddy Mummy. There won't be any more treats either, no sweets or comics or toys. But that's cruelty to children, squealed Tut and Sis together. On the contrary, said Mummy, it will do you good. And you'll have to stop shopping, dear, said Daddy Mummy. What? Squealed Mummy, horrified. But I can't. You don't have any choice, said Daddy Mummy. I'm not happy about all this myself. I can't go snowboarding with my pals now. There must be something we can do, said Mummy. Hey, I know, said Tut. We could sell stuff we don't want. Don't be dozy, laughed Sis. Who'd buy a useless brother? Hang on a second, said Daddy Mummy. He was staring at the newspaper and sounded excited. I've got a better idea. Look at this. Wow, this'll solve our problems. He pointed to a large advertisement on the newspaper's front page. Wanted families to appear in fabulous new TV show produced by Sphinx TV. Absolutely enormous cash prize to be won. I think we should give it a shot, said Daddy Mummy. We've got nothing to lose, have we? We might even turn out to be TV stars. He was right, of course, but not quite in the way he imagined. A bunch of weirdos. Mummy called the phone number in the advertisement, and they were invited to come to the office of Sphinx TV that same afternoon. It was a colossal building in Memphis, and they were rather impressed. Whoa, a whole wall of TV screens, said Tut. That's so cool. Hey, look, Sis hissed. It's the presenter from Mummy Mania. The Mummy kids and Daddy Mummy wanted to stop for autographs, but the nice Mummy at reception said they were expected upstairs. And when they got out of the lift, they were met by another smiling Mummy. Great to meet you, he said, shaking their hands. I'm the producer of Fabulous Families, the show you've come to audition for today. Audition? Said Daddy Mummy. Nobody mentioned an audition. But the producer didn't listen. He took them to a room where there were lots of TV company mummies and a couple of other families, too. Huh, what a bunch of weirdos they are, Tut muttered. Yeah, they're even uglier than you, Sis whispered. Tut stuck his tongue out at her, and Mummy gave them both a don't be so rude glare, but she didn't get a chance to tell them off. Okay, the idea of Fabulous Families is very simple, the producer said. We'll put cameras in the homes of the families we choose and film them day and night. Mummy and Daddy Mummy looked at each other, eyes wide. And the winners will be the family our viewers think is the best. So, Mr. and Mrs. Frankenstein, why should you be on the show? What makes your family special? Well, we're a very loving family, said Mr. Frankenstein, smiling at his wife and children, who smiled lovingly back. I suppose that's because my wife and I have always felt that we were made for each other. Ugh, yuck, Sis murmured. I think I'm going to be sick. Wow, they're even weirder than I thought, Tut muttered. Then it was the turn of the other family to talk about themselves. Mr. and Mrs. Dracula and their kids had lots of hobbies. "We like to have something we can get our teeth into," said the Count. "And for us it was love at first bite." "Talk about tough competition," said Daddy Mummy. "For heaven's sakes, he likes housework." "You're right," said Mummy. "It's just not natural." "That's terrific, Mr. and Mrs. Dracula," the producer was saying. "Now, what about you, Mr. and Mrs. Mummy? What have you got to say?" Daddy Mummy opened his mouth to speak, his eyes wide with panic. Then one of the TV company mummies whispered in the producer's ear. "Ah, not to worry," said the producer. "No one else has applied, and as we only need 3 families, you're all in. So, the best of luck to you." Thanks," said Daddy Mummy. Somehow he couldn't help thinking they were going to need as much luck as they could get.